Welcome back. Today we are looking at lesson 9.3, focusing on median and modes of a data set. So to recap, we've covered dot plots, peaks, clusters, gaps. We took a look at mean earlier this week, which is where we're finding the average. And today is focusing on median and mode. So on page 404 in your textbook, page 404, okay, so the first vocabulary word you see is measure of center. And measure of center says a measure that describes the typical value of a data set. The mean is one type of measure of center. So that's one type of figuring out the typical value of a data set. Median and mode are the other two. So you have mean, median, and mode. So basically, our measures of center are different ways to interpret the value of a data set, and this is how we're going to focus it: mean, median, and mode. So mean, we discovered, was pretty much the average. Take the numbers, add them up, divide by how many numbers you have. Median and mode are, I think, the most simple process for data measure, because basically all you do with median, this pen, okay, it's the number in the middle. So literally, it's the number in the middle. So if you look at the numbers on page 404, under the definition of median, you have the numbers 5, 8, 9, 12, 14. So literally, the number in the middle is 9, because you have 5 and 14 on this end, 8 and 12 match up, 9 is in the middle. So basically you're starting on both ends and working your way in. So another way to look at it is, if I say, well, 5 and 14, getting closer to the middle, cross out the next low and high. Now I've worked my way to the middle, so the median equals 9. So it's physically the number in the middle. Now, what do you do if you have an even number of number values? So look at your next example there: 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 11. Now the great part about this is no adding and dividing, none of that. Just literally work your way to the middle, okay? So 1, 2, okay? The low and the high are gone. The low and the high are gone. Oh, low and high. So what would be in the middle? Well, this one's kind of easy, because 5 and 7, there's literally only one number in the middle of 5 and 7, and it would have to be 6. But what you do if you end up with 2 numbers in the middle and you don't end up with just one number in the middle, you take those 2 numbers, 5 plus 7 equals 12, and divide it by 2, because it's 2 numbers. So you're finding the mean now. 5 plus 7 is 12, divide it by 2 equals 6. And we've already decided 6 had to be the middle number because it was the only number between 5 and 7. Now notice that to find the median, these numbers are listed from least to greatest. So if your data is not listed least to greatest, you will need to do that part. And then for the mode, it's just the number that happens the most. That's it. So take a look at this data set under the definition of mode. You have 11, 13, 15, 15, 18, 21, 24, 24. Okay, we only have one 11 and we only have one 13. We have two 15s, one 18, one 21, and we have two 24s. So we have two numbers tied for the top spot of how many times they repeat in this pattern. So we have, or in this set, so we have two 15s, ooh, help. What did I do? Oh, that's never good. Okay, just a moment. Let me figure out how to go back. Ah, there we go. Okay. We have two 15s, we have two 24s. So the two modes are, in this case, I have two modes. They're 15 and 24 because there's two 15s, two 24s. That's it. Okay, so our whole focus is going to, our whole lesson is going to focus on those two processes. Okay, so take a look at example 1. And example 1 says, find the median and mode of the bowling scores. Okay, and the bowling scores you can see on page 404, they're in the left, in the orangey yellow box that says bowling scores. And you can see you have a 120, 205, 135, 160, 160, 175, 125, 105, 90, and 145. Okay, those are not in order from least to greatest. So in order to work this problem, I need to write them in order from least to greatest. So they've already done that for example 1. So they've made it kind of easy. It's 90, 105, 120, 125, 135, 145, 160, 160, 175, and 205. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, it's an even number. So when I work my way to the middle, I'm going to have two numbers in the middle. So I'm going to have to do that, add and divide, okay? But let's just start working our way to the middle. So we cross off the least, the greatest, the next least, the next greatest, next least, next greatest, next least, next greatest. And I end up with these two in the middle, 135, 145. So in the middle here is going to be 140, but let's check. So we take the two numbers, 135 plus 145, add them up, divide by 2 because it's two numbers. 280 divided by 2, 140, just like we thought. Okay, so that's our median. Now the mode, so this is the median. The mode is which number happens the most, which number reoccurs the most amount of times. 190, just 105, 120, 125. I see right here there's two of these, two 160s and then one of that, and one of that. The only number that is repeated is 160. So your mode is 160. That's the number that occurred most often. Okay. All right. Take a moment to look at on your own at the bottom of page 404. Take a moment to try to write those data values from least to greatest. Identify your median and your mode, and then pop back to the video to see how you did. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to try number one on your own. And I'm going to start by writing them in order from least to greatest. So sometimes this is the hardest part, is just keeping all the numbers straight. 4, 8, whoops, see, already missed a 5. 4, 5, 8, 9, 4, 5, 8, 9, 12, 13, 17, 20, 29. I need to go back and make sure I didn't miss any. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew. Okay, my eyes don't like transferring those numbers. Okay, so it's an odd number. We have 9 pieces of information here. So that tells me I'm going to be able to work my way to a middle. So I like that to start off. Low and high, low and high, low and high, low and high. What am I left with in the middle? The median is 12. Now the mode is just which number do we have the most of? We only have one of these, 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 one of these. But look at 20, we have 2 of them. So our mode is 20. And you can have more than one mode. But in this case, there's just one. Okay. Now on number 2, if you were to work that problem, you would find that if you listed all your data, okay, so you'd have 75, 80, 90, 75, 80, 90, 100, 102, and 102 and 110. And so that's 6 pieces of data. So I'm going to have to do the add and divide. So 1, 2, low and high. Next, low and high. So this is what I end up with in the middle. Because if I were to cross those off as low and high, I wouldn't have anything here in the middle. Now, my guess is 95 is going to be in the middle of 90 and 100. Because 90, 91, 99, you know, we could work our way into the middle. But the fast way is 100 plus 90 is 190. Divided by 2 is 95. So my median is 95. Now, nothing in this data set is repeated. There's just 175, 180, 190, 100, only 102, and 110. There is no mode because nothing happens any more frequently than any other number. They all occur just one time. So this is a no mode situation. Okay, let's take a look at Page 405, example 2 says finding the mode. I think Harper's going to went in just a minute. Okay. This list shows the favorite type of movies for students in a class, organize the data in a frequency mode or a frequency table, then find the mode. Okay, so they did a survey, and you can see here where they wrote down favorite types of movies: comedy, horror, comedy, action, horror, comedy, horror, horror, and there's 3 columns of answers. And then they turned that into a frequency table, and they put the type of movie, and they made 4 options: action, comedy, drama, or horror. Then they did tally marks, okay, 1 for each response. And then they wrote the frequency. And the frequency is 5 for action, 8 for comedy, 4 for drama, and 7 for horror movies. Okay? So in this instance, the mode is not a number, it's an answer. So if you were to look at, just gonna turn this around for you. If you were to look at all these answers in the yellow box, which answer occurred most frequently? Well, the answer that was given most frequently was comedy. Okay, letting the dog in. Harper, let's go. Stop barking. Come on. It's her new favorite thing, to go outside and bark at squirrels and leaves and air. I don't know. So in this instance, what we would have to do is, the long way would be, we would write C for comedy, H for horror, C for comedy, A for action, then we had another horror, then we had another comedy, then we had another horror, then we had another horror. And then we would have to go through here and count which one occurred the most. Well, if I did that for all 3 columns, this is just one column. If I did it for all 3 columns, the one that would occur the most, drama, drama, comedy, comedy, drama, comedy, comedy, action, horror, horror, action, action, comedy, horror, action, drama. Okay, the one that occurred the most, there are more C's than anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were only 5 actions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were only 4 dramas. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 7 horrors. So 7 was close behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where did I miss one? 5, 6, 7. Okay. So horror was close behind, but the one that occurred the most was comedy. So for this example, our median, or our mode, sorry, our mode is comedy. It was the response given most frequently. And you would use this for things like, what's your favorite flavor slushie? What's your favorite kind of pizza? Whatever answer occurs the most becomes your mode. So choosing the best measure of center. So choosing the best way to interpret the collective value of your set. Find the median, and mode of the sneaker prices. Which measure is the best representation of the data? So example 3 says, okay, you can see the sneakers on the wall there. And they are, let's find the mean. So that's what we did earlier in the week. 20, 122. Whoo, that's a big difference. 37, 45. I'm going to add up these 4 values and then the next 4 pairs of sneakers, then add those together because I just don't like to add a whole bunch of numbers at once. 5, 7, 12, 13, 14. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the left side of the wall is 224. The right side of the wall is 164. If we add those together, we should get 388. Okay, so the total value of the sneakers, and I just did the left side of the wall, the right side of the wall, and added them together. I tend to make more mistakes when I try to add a whole long string of numbers at once. So I like to break it up. So 388 for the total cost of the sneakers divided by how many pairs are there? Okay, so how many pairs of sneakers were there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs of sneakers. So 388 divided by 8 times 8 is 32. 6, bring down your 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Whoops. 4. Add a decimal, 0.5, so 48.50. The average cost or the mean price of a pair of shoes from this set of data is $48.50, but I don't really know if that's the best way to think about the average here. So let's see what we can come up with. Let's look at finding the median. So for the median, remember, we're going to list them in order from least to greatest, work our way to the middle. So we've got 2 pairs that are 20, and those are the lowest. 31, 37, 45, 48, 65, and 122. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now let's work our way in. Low and high, low and high, low and high. This gives us 2 numbers in the middle, so we'll do the add and divide by 2. 37 plus 45. 8, so 82 divided by 2, so the median price of a pair of shoes here is 41. Okay, so 48.50 is the mean, and the median is 41. So basically, with mean, median, and mode, we're trying to interpret the measure of center. What is the center of this set of data? So by one method, the center's 48.50, and by another measure, which is not nearly as precise, because all we're doing is working our way to the middle. We're not really taking a little from 120 and giving it to 45, or taking a little from 122 and giving it to 37 to try to make it all equal. We're just working our way to the middle of the set, and that comes up at 41. So this is a little more precise than this. And then the mode is the value that occurs most often. And you can see there's only one of each of these numbers except for 20. 20 occurs twice. I haven't seen a $20 pair of sneakers in years, but okay. So the mode is 20. It's the number that occurs the most. So that's the mode. Now, the median the median best represents this data because we're just trying to figure out kind of what the middle cost is. Not necessarily the average cost, but just the middle cost. The mode is not super reliable here because it is way lower. The mode is $20, and that is way lower than all the rest of the numbers in the set. And then 4850, well, this number is more than most of the numbers in the set. It's more than this one, more than this one, more than this one, more than this one. So it's greater than half the numbers. So this or this is a better interpretation of the data than the mode. But this is how you would find each of the three pieces. Okay, so last thing, let's try find the mean, median, and mode of the data. Choose the measure that best represents the data. Explain your reasoning. I just want you to find mean, median, and mode. That's all I want you to do. I don't want you to have to figure out which one you think is best. Mean, median, and mode. I just want to practice finding those values. So for number 4 on your own, give it a whirl. And then when you think you have an answer, check back to see how you did. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to work this problem, number 4 on your own. Number 4 on page 405. So let's work it now. 1 is your least value. And you have a 34, a 46, a 55, a 48. I told you the hardest part is getting them all written down. 48, 55, 67, 93, and 194. Now, if we were to plot this on a dot plot, it would be easy to see that 194 would be like a big outlier. Like it's just kind of way out there on its own. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So low and high, low and high, low and high, and you end up here. So we need the number that's in the middle of 48 and 55. Okay. So 48 plus 55, 10 and 103 divided by 2. Oh, sorry. 51.5. So 51.5. So your median equals 51.5. Your mode is which number occurs more often than the others. Nothing, so no mode. And then for the mean, you would add these up. So 34 plus 1 is 35, plus 46. Goodness, my pen is really getting bad. 48 or 81 plus 48. 129 plus 55. 184 plus 67. 251. 344. 538. So 538 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6. 67.25. So 67.25. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one. I was like, how did they get 99? But I was on number 5, not number 4. 67.25, your median is 51.5, and there's no mode. Now here, your median is the best way to compare this data because this 194 just made our, look how high our mean is. 67, that's nowhere near the middle of these numbers because this is such an outlier. So again, I'm not going to make you identify which is the best representation, but just kind of explaining it to you why this would be the best representation. But your answers would be median, 51.5, no mode, and then mean would be 67.25. Okay, I have posted a Khan Academy video for more information. I posted that on last Tuesday, so you can go to previous assignments and find that. If you need further review, let me know if you need any help on your assignment, and I'll post your assignment on the portal. Thanks. Have a good day.